Good morning, everyone. I'm Sister Jenna, your host for our new America Meditating segment called Wise-ish. It's your power boost for the morning. It's for you to take your dose for your inner cure. Join us every day, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45 ET. Don't forget, take your dose. See you soon.
What future do you want humanity to live in?
And how will you see the good?
The divine feminine principle really is inclusion, community, collaboration.
For the first time in history, we have millions of people around the world awakening at the same moment.
This is a time where we can reassess everything.
We now share a collective experience,
bringing forward a much needed human wisdom, which is also very spiritual.
Where people embrace each other for their strength of character.
I see the good in people wanting to make a contribution for the betterment of this planet and stepping up in unique, creative, and powerful ways.
The world of the future is going to be the golden age.
Everyone, welcome to your spiritual vaccine hour and a very, very warm Om Shanti. I'm Sister Jenna. What an exciting day we had today. We finally launched See Good TV. You know that for the past week or so we've been showcasing it in our openings for spiritual vaccine and also for Wise-ish as well. And today the actual moment arrived. And at 7 a.m. PST on the 7th, in the 7th month, Trina White and her incredible team at Conscious Good launched See Good TV. It was wonderful. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Unify, our friends at Unify, John Raymer at Sign Network, and of course our wonderful team at America Meditating Radio, for really making this quite a smooth opening and a very respectful and sacred launch of a media platform that makes you feel good. So today, Santosh and I went and we were learning about this thing called Roku. I don't know how many of you know what Roku is, but Roku. And on Roku is See Good TV. So we turned it on, and there it was, all the wonderful programming of See Good TV. Tasteful, good quality, and it will continue to keep growing and amplifying with more programming available. And I have to say that I was just so proud of Betsy Chase, who was the brilliance in putting together the footage of the 4-part series of See the Good. And when we sat there and looked at it today, during my day, we had a chance to kind of dedicate that time. I was just so happy. I was just so happy knowing the energy that was put into it before we launched today, knowing the people who are behind it, all different personalities, all come with their special gifts, and yet to match the vision. But also knowing what it takes for a soul in a female body to push an agenda, a media network of this nature, and to keep pushing it forward. So I'm turning to all of you to keep giving it your 101% support. And please go to seegood.tv if you haven't registered and signed up yet to see the 4-part series and many more special gifts and special programs that are really, I'm not exaggerating. It's really nice. I was particularly moved by the second episode that covered the narrative of Black Lives Matter. I was moved by the third episode that featured some Native American stories and youths. I was moved by everything. Marianne Williamson's hers was the final episode. And Sanatan Kaur's music for the See Good event was absolutely soul-inspiring. So it will continue to grow, and it will continue to get the best content that will serve the soul at a deep level and give us that boost that we need. So before we go into our conversation about checking and changing, which is a topic I am way too comfortable with, so I could go on and on and on, which we won't do. But I wanted you to participate. If you did not see this morning's launch, I'm inviting you to take the next 15 minutes with me, because I want to see it again. Would you believe I had to go do a test? So while I'm in the car, myself and Trina are going back and forth. I can't see it. I can't see it. And I wanted so much to be a part of the launch exactly at that 10 a.m. EST time. And it was 7 a.m. PST, so it was 10 o'clock our time. And I'm like, why can't I find it, Trina? Where is it? You know? And then by the time I got onto it, it might have been like maybe halfway through the segments. I literally almost missed all of it. So, you know, just today it's been moving quite full today, and then finally we had a chance to view it with Sister Geeta and Santosh, and we just loved it. So I was so moved by it, and I'm sure that you would be moved by it. And if you think about the fact that every positive or good thought you've had is actually contributing to making a platform like this come to life, then I want you to own it. I want you to be a shareholder of the SeeGood.tv, because every time you dream about a better world, and every time you dream about a better future, or any time you wish for something good in your life, you're contributing to a platform like this. So enjoy it, and please tell me what you think in the comments list, because I'll be right here with you, watching it with you too.
We've arrived here on the planet to be creators.
I think it's so important to see the good, especially right now.
I am hopeful, inspired, and optimistic about our future.
I think that this experience is awakening a lot of people.
Hi, I'm Trina Wyatt. I'm founder and CEO of Conscious Good. Conscious Good is a community-driven media platform committed to raising consciousness. We envision a world where every human being feels connected to themselves, to each other, and to something greater. And we believe that visual storytelling and creative expression helps establish and reaffirm these connections. Welcome to See the Good. In this episode, we talk about the importance of creativity and helping us face the challenges that can arise in our lives. Creative expression is essential for our mental health and well-being. When we create, we nurture our soul. And when we create and we share our creation with others, not only does it help us heal our own hearts, but it helps us heal each other. I am delighted to be here today with Sister Jenna. Sister Jenna is not only the spiritual leader of a very large movement and organization out of Washington, D.C., the Brahma Kumaris. She's not only the host of the American Meditating radio show, but she is also, in my heart, one of my mentors and dear friends, and someone who I go to for wisdom, inspiration, and advice. So I'm so pleased to have you here with me today, Sister Jenna.
I was going to give you a virtual hug. You know, that's all we can do nowadays. But It's great to be with you, especially in such a time for us to be talking about the goodness of the human spirit. So thanks for having the thought, but also the intent and the feeling to bring in the spiritual voices that are maybe a little bit more on the quiet side.
There are so many ways in which our community is feeling called to make a contribution and to do what we can to ease the suffering that is happening in the world these last few months. Whether it's visual storytelling or poetry or music, we have been facilitating a collaboration from all members, including thought leaders and wisdom keepers such as yourself, to really to speak up and tell us about the importance of what we see are we call them the 4 C's, 4 pillars: creativity, community, connection, and collaboration. Can you tell me a little bit about how you see these 4 C's helping us live in a more conscious world?
Well, I see them like we're taking our vitamin C's.
Excellent.
If you take your vitamin C's, you're going to be very healthy. And looking at the pandemic, which is still upon us, and looking at the unfortunate passing of George Floyd, why not find ways in which we can come together as a community, commune? In what way can we share a common thought that will bring some light to the current state of the world? And as a result of that collaboration, to see how we can bring in our own creative abilities or talents or skills to collaborate to move the story forward.
I'm feeling a real surge in creativity, and I'm watching that play out in others both globally and in local communities.
We need more people to be excited about the world that we've yet to see. That's where great inventions come from. That's where great ideas come from, is people that realize before us is an empty blank canvas, and it is up to us as creative artists to create the image that we're wanting to draw in and that we want to emerge into being.
You know, the beauty of the dark night is that the stars shine, and we all have a star inside us. We all have those magnificence, the depth of loving that we can access.
Hey guys, my name is Sean Boleyn, and I just wanted to share a couple videos that I have found really inspiring during this pandemic. Many people have already seen these videos floating around the internet, but I specifically chose a video from Global News. It's a compilation of recordings from people all throughout Italy during their lockdown, in different cities, singing their national anthem, playing instruments, and even using kitchen tools to make music. You can see that this is a community coming together just to share music with each other. Everyone really does share a love for music or playing instruments or singing, and I think that's what's so powerful about this video. You know, it shows that we're all connected even if we can't physically be together. They know that people are going through the same thing they're going through, and the only way to get through this is together and to share the things we love, even if that's with social distancing.
Hi, I'm Betsy Chassie, part of the Conscious Good team. When I was asked to help co-create See the Good, and I started talking to all my fellow co-creators at the Conscious Good Creators Network, one of the themes that emerged was how amazing it is to see all these wonderful filmmakers, storytellers, and artists creating inspirational, profound, beautiful little pieces that were going viral all over the internet. And for me, there's one film, The Great Realization, done by Tom Foolery out of the UK, that I think will become synonymous with this time in our lives.
Tell me the one about the virus again, then I'll go to bed.
But my boy, you're growing weary, sleepy thoughts about your head.
Please, that one's my favourite. I promise just once more.
Okay, snuggle down, my boy, though I know you know full well. The story starts before then, in a world I once would dwell.
How did you continuing to express your creativity, how important was that to you, especially in lockdown?
Well, I have the added blessing, as you could say, sometimes it doesn't feel like a blessing, of being locked down with 2 7-year-olds. And so I'm obviously joking, but yeah, they're wonderful. They're full of energy. Creativity, I think being creative is, a way to keep the mind healthy. When we're told we can't leave our houses except to go to the supermarket or for, 1 round of exercise in the day, you think, well, what are we going to do all day? I don't like the thought of just telling them, just watch TV all day. It's great to watch TV. I watch TV myself, but for 10 hours, it's not right. So we got to do stuff.
How did you come up with the idea for the Great Realization?
A lot of the conversations I was having over the dinner table, or when I was on the phone to my mum, or when I was on the phone to my girlfriend or friends, I felt like the conversations were shifting in their tone. All the news seemed to be doing, in our country at least, was reporting how many people had died that day. If people don't have anything to be hopeful for, and if people don't have anything to work towards or look forward to, I think that can be incredibly dangerous for people's mental health. Definitely for mine. I need something, and so I set myself the challenge of finding a hopeful message. The phrase that actually prompted me, in a very literal way, to write that particular poem: I can't wait for things to go back to normal. And I heard a lot of people saying that, and for some reason it just struck me. And sometimes people are saying something, you just think there's something slightly off about it, there's something not quite right about it. And I think what I felt that was I thought that we were selling ourselves short. Everyone was saying I can't wait for it to go back to normal, and I started thinking, well, is that where we want to go back to, or could we go back to something even better? Wouldn't that be more interesting?
But why did it take a virus to bring the people back together?
Well, sometimes you've got to get sick, my boy, before you start feeling better. Now lie down and dream of tomorrow and all the things that we can do. And who knows, if you dream hard enough, maybe some of them will come true. We now call it the Great Realization. And yes, since then there have been many. But that's the story of how it started and why hindsight's 2020.
There were major structural problems before, and this could be a chance to reevaluate some of those things.
You delivered a message in such a simple way that really made people think. And what do you think about that kind of impact that media or that creativity can make? I mean, that you changed minds with that piece.
From my perspective, I don't think I changed people's minds. I think it's that situation where you're at a party or at a dinner party or whatever, and someone just says something and you think, yes, that's what I was trying to say. I think artists are trying to do really is just articulate a feeling, whether that's with a dance or a painting or a song or a piece of music or a poem or a novel or anything.
Where you are, you're in the UK, right?
Yeah, I'm in London.
Tell me, what good are you seeing in your world and in the world at large that's inspired you right now during this time?
I think there are lots of things to be hopeful for, but the thing that interests me and excites me the most is when people voluntarily commit to gestures of goodwill to each other that they don't believe will ever be noticed by anyone, but actually I think will have a tremendous impact. That makes me hopeful.
Yeah, I love this simple, I see that all the time, how one person's little act of kindness but somebody picks something up off the ground or does some little thing and you can feel the ripple effect.
It's a ripple effect, and then that person that has experienced it will then take that with them forward to whoever they interact with that day. And
there you go. That's how we create
limitless.
good in the world.
My dad said to me once, and I'll never forget it, if you're inactive, nothing will happen. If you're active, maybe something will happen.
What you created from a genuine place in the heart. That's the birthplace of powerful creativity to me.
Thank you.
Altogether, I sense that when we move through these challenges, it's really about raising our frequency, staying in a positive frequency.
I see the future of humanity and the world in which we live filled with goodness, truth, and beauty. That the highest qualities of the human soul will be expressed through their thoughts, their words, their actions in a very conscious way.
Speak Truth by Deirdre Haid. 1. Speak the truth of the day. Tell the world what you have to say. For in you wisdom speaks great in a world that often forsakes. Look into your heart. There's where your angels call. Whether your voice is great or small, bold or meek, speak it all. Harness courage. Tell what must be told. That a life well lived is all there is. Love of one another is all there is to give. 2. Be brave in your task. Seek to heal the past. Hold on to the light where the dark fist might tear from bones, water souls. Grow. Become the messenger. We are in a possibility of time, creativity connecting with divine. The voiceless union brought us here. Community, it is time to care. Mend your heart from all despair. Go now. Speak the truth of the day. Tell the world what you have to say. Share your wisdom. Shout your illumination. Never look back. Act on your conviction. Love this journey. You are the transformation. You are the transformation.
We humans, we are born resilient. We have the natural capacity to not only bounce back to our baseline, but the potential to bounce forward.
Freedom, true freedom, comes from the ability to let go, to allow, to let, to see, to get excited, not about what you know. Because you see, we always keep creating the same based on what we know. It's what we don't know that brings forth the new that deeply we are seeking. And this is one of the important reasons that all of us were born right here and right now during this time, to see that light and to make it happen. Now.
Please tell me that you're going to give us 2 thumbs up for that beautiful 15-minute segue. Did you feel the energy that was put into that? And that's just the first episode of 4. But you can only see the other 4 on Secret TV. You won't be able to see it anywhere else. And each episode builds so much more deeper inside. So please tell me if you liked it, and of course if you don't like it, I'll also accept it, but please tell me it was worth all the energy that all of us had put into it to convey this message of the importance of us seeing the good in ourselves and in our humanity as we continue to go through this pandemic. And we continue to hear of African American men being shot and killed by police officers, as we continue to hear white supremacists increasing in the country or just continuing with their stuff, as we continue to hear what's going on Capitol Hill, as we continue to hear and hear and hear, like you can almost lose hope. Is there any good left on the planet? So, please tell me you really liked our first episode, that it was okay, and that we did you proud. So remember, if you've had a good thought, you are an investor in this. You are a reason why a program like this has emerged in the minds of so many. So thank you for letting me dedicate the first half hour to this, because I believe that when we decide to check and change, there are signals. There are signals something is being discovered inside of your consciousness. There's a thought that is creating a feeling, and the feeling is sending a sensation through the body. And if you're not subtle enough to recognize what the feeling is trying to decode for you, you can feel it through your physical form, your body. You either feel tense, you feel afraid, or you feel relaxed and easy. All of that will come from, what are you thinking? So when you check and change, the first place that you go to change is to check what you're thinking. Over and over again, this practice of being a consistent checker of what's happening in the world behind your eye is essential. The reason why, especially this particular age that we're in, this particular period that you and I find ourselves in, we are being asked to go inwards, to investigate, to research, to press the pause button if we need to press fast forward. But more than anything else, we're being asked to go inside and check. Are you being your true self? Do you know who you are? And are you able to access the real you with the right language? So many of us don't have the right language, the right conversation, the right kind of relationship to have with the self. So we're kind of blocked. We're walking around without any purpose, direction, focus. Who am I? Why am I in this body? Why is the soul sitting in this body? For what purpose? Is it to make money? Yeah, I'm sure. You have to earn a living, so if you're going to put energy into anything that you do, you want to feel the return of that energy, don't you? So if you're working on a project, you want to, if you're not getting money for it, but you want to get people's blessings, or you would like to see the reward of your effort come out in a great production like the team did at See Good TV, right? You at least want to see the energy that you put in. Oh, it looks great. And just the fact that you can see what your energy has created, it feeds you. So I think one of the big areas in our lives that we are still grappling with trying to figure out is, how do I relate to myself? You know, really, what is the languaging that I need to apply to me so I can understand? Have you ever been around a dinner table or at a social gathering, which none of us have been unless it's been on Zoom for the last 4 months? But have you ever been in a particular scene at a social gathering and someone's speaking to you and you have absolutely no interest to listen to that conversation? Did you remember that? I remembered I was at a lecture in California many years ago, and there was a delightful man who was very intrigued to talk with me and to somehow bring a project or an initiative that he was working on. I had just finished having a beautiful chit-chat with Philip Helmick from the Shift Network, and can't believe I'm missing him, but wow, I can't believe his name's gone, totally missed me. But a nice conversation. And when they left me, this young man came up to talk to me about some scientific research that he's doing on consciousness. And as I sat there, I actually wanted to just sit for a little bit of solitude. But as he was explaining stuff to me, he was so kind of excited to tell me what he wanted me to hear, to see if I would somehow begin to have some interest. And I think after about a minute or two, it was at least 2 minutes, I just turned to him and gently touched him and says, "Excuse me," because I'm checking myself now, right? And I'm needing to change where my energy is, because here's a child of God wanting to share something with me that's really important to him. And I'm a child of God, and I'm looking for a pause, because I've been talking all day at the conference, and I was one of the keynotes. And I just had to turn to him gently, because I've checked, and I'm changing, right? So I turned to him and I said, very gently, "I know what you're saying to me is important," just like this. "And I deeply want to value what you have to say. Why don't you give me your number and we can talk later?" And he did. And he left. And I got to sit there in my own company for another 5 minutes or so until I was asked to do a filming. And the reason why I was able to give myself that respect was that I was checking. I was checking that I needed that pause. I needed that moment for me. I needed to breathe. I needed to inhale and breathe. And I needed to recognize that in my every breath, I was co-creating more space so that I can be of greater service to others. Do you understand? There are over 50,000 thoughts that are swimming in and out of our consciousness or in and out of our mind every day. Can you imagine there is a research done on that? 50,000 thoughts per day. We're only using 5 to 7% of the capacity of our thinking. What is happening to the 95 or 93%? Does that go into waste? Why am I not able to utilize it? What's getting in the way of the 95% thoughts? That I'm not able to use the thoughts I want to have to move my life forward because I know who I am. So, wouldn't you and I say, honestly, maybe 50,000 thoughts are way too many thoughts for anyone to have in a day? I don't mind having $50,000 a day. I don't mind if somebody gave me $50,000 a day to keep building museums and sharing programs and making the narrative of the world become a better place. I won't mind that one bit. But even if you were to get $50,000 right now, wouldn't that help you? Wouldn't that do something for you? Wouldn't that move the needle a little bit for you with wherever you are in your life right now? So what are you doing with 50,000 thoughts in your spirit? Right now, what are you doing with 50,000 thoughts in your head? How are you using them? How are they coming out of you? What do 50,000 thoughts want from you? What's the language that you would go inside and have a conversation with 50,000 thoughts? Where would you begin? How would you check? Okay, this thought I need. This thought I don't need. Oh, this thought might be a good one that I'll need 5 years from now. Or maybe I'm going to need this thought in another 20 years, you know, when this happens in the world, this thought's going to be useful. And if I'm having 50,000 thoughts every day, are they the same 50,000 thoughts? tomorrow, will they be the same 50,000 thoughts tomorrow? I doubt it, because things are always changing. They might be rotating, moving in and out, swirling here and there. So why it's important to check the self is that there has to be a point in our lives that we recognize truthfully our potential. And there has to be a level or an element of self-honesty that says, I am such a gift to the planet, and there's such a capacity and a potential in me. Why should I waste it? I was coming up the stairs today, and I was saying, just something came over my thinking, and I was like, you know, sometimes you feel like your thoughts are holding up an energy that it's like it's not moving. You know, there might be energies of around you that it's not moving, it's kind of stagnant. As I was coming up the step, I was like, if I have to hold up this energy and then hold up my own energy and allow God to use my energy and do that, then that's what I have to do. That means I have to keep paying attention that my thoughts are valuable. If Santosh ever sees me on my phone and he sees me doing stuff, I'm going to be very, very honest. I will guarantee you 7.5% of my time on that phone is used for work, for service, nothing else. I have never played a game on my cell phone. Never. Never. And I'm also trying to reduce when I'm scrolling through the social media. Today I was on a little bit because I wanted to see Good and how that was doing. And then I was checking our Instagram and I was checking the Twitter. And that even I've been noticing for myself. I go, you're going to stop that soon too. I know you are. You're not even going to need to look at maybe once a week. And then I'll just, okay, life goes on. What's most important is my state of mind. I will not waste my time on my cell phone. And if I'm looking at something, I'm trying to learn something. Because I'm not going to let 50,000 thoughts in my head be of waste. If I'm at least going to watch something, I'm trying to learn, what is this like? How are they doing that? I was saying Betsy Chase did such a wonderful job in conveying the story of the first episode of Creativity. I thought to myself, how did Betsy see that so clearly? That she was able to put all the right people in, the right narrative, she and Stefan, like, how did they do that? So as I watched the first episode with you, I was looking at that to learn, but I was also being fed by the energy that was coming through the first episode. So checking is also an opportunity that says, I want to learn. I don't just want to check to throw out waste. I don't just want to check because something is wrong. I also want to check because I'm open to learning. And so this habit of checking and changing, checking and changing, checking and changing is a great habit to develop, especially at this time. Things are changing so fast, we don't even have time to check it anymore. Have you noticed? It's going so quick. We don't even know what to check. We're kind of just going with the wind, like, okay, oh, so now they roll back this law, okay, that's okay, and then that, oh, and then there's more pandemic, oh, then we're locking down again, oh, okay. It's as if we're all just pawns, and if we just keep going with the wave without checking, then we're going to be lost. We're going to feel so aimless. At what point do you at least take charge as to how you wish to feel in the midst of the changes that are occurring outside of you? Because you can become an extremely angry person with what's happening in the world right now. But you can also become severely upset and sick with what's happening in our country. Because a whole bunch of stuff ain't right. And now, doesn't matter if you're top, middle, wherever, average, you're getting checked. I heard that PPP fundings went to so many billionaires and millionaires. That's painful. When you have hardworking citizens and people who are just trying to make it, and people with millions are getting the money. I know it's all about karma, but I have to tell you, if I had millions and I can see what's going on with my country and unemployment is down and people don't have a job and people are struggling for rent, and I know we all have to stand up strong and stand in our power and fight our way through no matter what. But my goodness, for millionaires to be collecting fundings from the government, it was a little heartbreaking. Antonia gave me a link and she said, you know, sister, you can that thing, you can file for this, is it a stimulus check or something? And I said to Antonia, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take from the government. I feel like something's just not copacetic. Something's not right. Like, she goes, sister, but it's going to help. You're going to take it. You'll give it to service. It'll be of service. And I told her, yes, 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 I know. But I feel like what's going on with the energy, it's like that karma just doesn't feel right. So she was saying, but just think about it, no? Because I know you can purify it. I mean, here I am, someone who doesn't have millions. We're not doing all of the stuff that people are, and I'm thinking about the people. It's $1,200. It could pay someone's rent or half of a rent. It could feed somebody. It could feed a family. And millionaires are getting millions. That can make you severely angry. And if you check it, and you check your anger, what you'll find are a lot of different answers that will come up from inside of you. One is, I hate that I've reached this level of poverty. Or another thing might come up is, I'm so disappointed I don't have the power to make the changes or to do like what we're watching happening in the country. Or you can be so angry because it's an old life that's coming up of being abused, of being used, of not being cared for, or maybe abusing a system. We don't know all the things that are recorded in the sanskars, the subconscious of the soul. That's why we have to check, and we have to ask ourselves all the time, over and over again, how did that make you feel? When you read it in the news today, that after they were being checked, where's this money going? There's a clause in the bill that says it cannot be told exactly where the fundings are going, especially when it's millions of dollars. Does that make sense? As much as the House kept asking. Okay, here's what I'm trying to get at. When we start to check into the self, we will find that there is something within the soul that needs changing. Just like now that they're giving a check into where did those stimulus packages go? Where have those millions out of the, what was it, Santosh, 6 trillion? Where did all of those millions of dollars go to from the $6 trillion stimulus package? Did it go back to the citizens of this country? And now they're checking. And what are they checking? Where is it? And what's coming up? A red flag. In the same way that we can check leaders or check things out there, imagine when you start to use the tool of meditation and you start to go behind your eye and ask, are you okay? Is anything bothering you? What do you need? What do you need to make you happy right now? And do you believe you have the potential and the strength to bring it to life? Or are you just going to live with your 50,000 of thoughts, which means like 95% might be waste or useless? You're just going to be walking around like, you know, I always call it like like a ball and chain, like, ugh, like I'm just being held back. And you can blame everybody. You blame your mother, your father, your auntie, your uncle, your government for being held back. But what are you going to do to break this karmic energy in the soul that's making that your reality? That's something I've been working on for myself for the last month and a half. How do I break that energy of karma that is sitting somewhere in my subconscious that's making a particular reality become physically manifested, which is something I don't want. I want to change that reality with the power of my mind. And if you can transcend time and go beyond all the stories and the attachment to the stories that you have been repeating in your head day after day, and you can transcend the stories, and you can go internally inside to your soul, to your being, and then remember Baba, God, the point of light, the energy, that's the transformational power in you. And you transcend all of your little limited stories, a miracle can happen. A miracle can happen. Why is it that there are certain people in the world can wave their hand over you and heal you in a second? Jesus used to heal people. Where was his consciousness that made that happen? What was that? Because he wasn't at the ground level of thinking. He wasn't caught up in this one did this one did that. Oh, my back aches. Oh, my head is like this. Oh, my husband is like that. My child is, oh, this government. Oh, the weather is awful. Oh, I wish it was warmer. Oh, I wish. All of that is low vibration. All of that is 50,000 worth of thoughts that are of no use for you. And then I say to myself, and you want a miracle to happen? If you want a miracle to happen, are you willing to dedicate a consistent amount of energy just focused on Baba's love and light doing the miracle? And you know what answer I always get back? I just don't have the time. I literally get back the message that I will try it, and then something happens. Someone comes in, the phone rings, email rings. I have to send a message out before this time. And even though it's at the back of my mind to do, and I'm not saying that it's not there lingering, because it is lingering, it's not concentrated. Remember the days, I don't know if you remember, but I remembered when I came to America. I came when I was about four or five. So I've been here for over 50-something years. And when I used to go back to the islands where my father's business was, they used to distribute the oranges throughout the country. And they had a big farm. And so the trucks would drive in, and I remembered myself and Grandma. We would go onto the truck and, well, I would. Grandma would be sitting there. But I would climb up in the truck with all the boys, and I would kind of scoop out the oranges and let them go in the big warehouse. And then Grandma would be sitting there on the stool, and we would have plastic bags and little twisters. There were some orange bags that were six oranges to a bag, or a dozen to a bag. And I would sit there and I would back the oranges, and it was the sweetest feeling that we used to have. So every morning I had fresh orange juice. Every morning. Freshly squeezed, sweetest oranges. So when I came to the US and I was here, we didn't get fresh orange juice anymore. Only when I would go back to the country that I would get fresh orange juice because my father was still there. But when I would come back to Miami at the time, or New York, where I was raised, I would get this orange juice. It was called concentrated orange juice. It was in a frozen canister of some sort. It was like a frozen canister about this big. I don't know if you all remember that. And I remembered Sister Gita would break it open, would let it slip out in a jar, and would add water to it, and she would stir it, and it would dissolve. And then you had orange juice. But I never liked it, because I used to have fresh squeezed orange juice. So The point that I'm making here, and I'm trying to get at, is when something is concentrated, it can go so far versus when it's not. It can really expand into much more. So when we are planning to check and change, my deepest recommendation is in your checking, it's not just to see what's wrong, but it's also, what can I learn here? What is this opportunity offering me to learn? So that I can make my spirit open to the growing process, to the creativity that might be wanting to also come in. Knowing that if I'm concentrated in my remembrance that I'm a soul, Baba is the supreme power, the ocean of love and peace and purity, the one who really touches my creativity is Baba. And I can sit with that concentrated energy. I won't need 50,000 thoughts in my mind to keep me going in a day. I will only need a few, because it'll be fine. That's all you need. When it's concentrated, you need less. When it's not concentrated, way too much. Way too much. So why don't we do a little breathing exercise? Came across this stuff on Unify today. I thought it was important because the more you're able to really breathe in and breathe out and just concentrate on your breath for a while, you will be able to reduce your thoughts and you will be able to find room to check. In your breathing in and breathing out, you will start to check areas in your consciousness that might need a little bit of alignment. So you ready? You ready? Let's go for it. Really simple little exercise here. Santosh is going to put up this diagram and you just follow it. Just breathe in and out. And settle. Think about some of the things that I've shared. How does it touch your heart? What is it moving in your energy field? Perfect. I hope you increased your calm, reduced any discomfort or fear might be sitting there, and that you were able to make some shifts on the inside to change the pattern of thinking and just these feelings that we tend to have that you feel like they're useless, you know, and all these feelings are coming from a thought. And sometimes we just don't have the language to identify what the thought is. But when you practice your inner silence, it gets clearer, and your wisdom increases, and you gain a deeper insight into this is what's happening to me at a soul level. And I, the soul, have to cure the soul, not something outside of me. I have to find the right thoughts, the right intention, the right measure of silence and quietude, but also the right wisdom to move the soul towards the place that it needs to be, which is great freedom, great sense of abundance and care. So, thank you all for joining us today. And Asmita, regarding your question, I think don't try to concise 50 thoughts, but just find one or two that will be more of service to your current particular situation. But the vision, you know, I talk a lot about the vision. What's the vision that's pulling you? So in order for you to be clear on your vision, Asmita, go inside behind your eyes, remember Baba, and the vision will become clear. It might not happen instantly, but do it regularly, over and over again, until Baba shows you a clear insight. Akshay, you're watching again today, so let's hear what the brilliant 13-year-old Akshay has to say today about checking and changing. Is everyone ready for this one? From the mouth of babes. Life is a continuous stream of thoughts that determine our future. Our duty as a soul is to be aware of what we think so we can change what we do. Om Shanti. Akshay, we're going to have to start to make your thoughts into quotes, I tell you. It's just awesome. And if we can't do it, can you start to do that for us and send it in every night so that we can make it into a nice little video? Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I had such a lovely day today. I just loved that. I just loved everything about today. You're welcome, Praveen Bhai. So glad that you could join us today. Thank you all for always taking the time to make it your regular go-to experience in the evening. It touches our hearts a lot. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Shobha, Om Shanti, thank you. Naratham, thank you for joining in. All right, so let's do the name calling before I say goodnight. All right, so Jennifer Scotland, nice to have you. Patu Kanani, it's very great to have you. I think it's our first time seeing you in our community. Julie Johnson, lovely to have you. Nicole Jones, yes, V, thank you. I mentioned your wonderful good wishes to Santosh and to Brother David and to Suja. And thank you for thinking about keeping up with the museum. Nikki, thanks for being on. Susanna, always a delight to have you. Darlene, our pleasure to have you with us. Kailash, Om Shanti, and Bryn, Louise, nice to have you. Wendy, Ranju, Bharti, nice to have you. Bharti Bentina, Om Shanti. Nikhil Kumar Joshi, nice to have the family on. So it's so good to see all of you. All right, and on Facebook, a child should lead us. How awesome. Isn't that something, Liz Barker? Can you believe that? Yes, yes. So always nice to see the young spend the evening with you. I agree with you, Marissa. Actually, we're going to have a picture with you so everyone can see you, because I know they're starting to really go, who is that boy? Why that boy so smart? Who is his mother? So Akshay, you're making your mom really proud. So very glad that you could join us and bless us with your vibrations and your wisdom, Akshay. Sending you oceans and oceans of blessings and love. May you be the future that the world is seeking. That you put things together that the adults have broken apart, and you speak truth to power, and you inspire us to stay on the right track. Because we're going to need you. We're going to need your wisdom. Okay, everyone. Lovely night. Good night. Remember, keep in touch. Stay sweet. Share if you care about tonight's program, of course. Feel free to put your comments and your love, and to take care of each other. Take care. Check to change is essential, because we're here to learn, expand, grow, build our capacity, reveal God on the planet through our behavior, our character, our peace, our love, our creativity, skills, and beauty. Good night, everyone. Om Shanti. Enjoy this meditation and sleep well. Right now, at this very moment, take a deep breath in and out. Remind yourself that yes and no can be a full sentence. So stop trying to please everyone. Stop stressing. Say yes or no. It's a full sentence. Breathe in deeply. Release. Accept that you are perfect just as you are, and you are open for room for change. No more stress. Say yes or no. Sway your body left and right very slowly. Come back to the center. Center your eyes. And then direct your eyes as far upwards as you can. Come back to the center. Direct it downwards as far down as you can. Come back to the center. Sway left, sway right. Remind yourself, yes is a full sentence. No is a full sentence. Today, stop stressing trying to people please, and please yourself.